how are you? So I'm just stuck in traffic and figured it's the perfect time to give you guys the word. Like I said, I have a lot more messages that I have to give you guys, but this one is a little bit, not going to be too long, but it is a little bit more lengthy, so it just makes sense that I deliver it now. I want to talk to you guys about what God said to me last night. He did say that, he said the breakthrough is coming to the surface, okay? The breakthrough is coming to the surface, okay? Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, what does God mean by that? It means your breakthrough is literally almost here. It's almost here. But one thing that God expressed to me is that patience and obedience is required, okay? Not only that, but the type of seeds that you guys have planted this year, the types of seeds that you guys have planted last year, types of seeds you guys have planted years prior, that's going to determine the type of branch, roots, and fruits you are about to see in 2023 and 2024, okay? Now, the analogy I'm going to give you, when God gave me the message and said your breakthrough is coming to the surface, the analogy he gave me reminded me of a game that my cousin and me played on Christmas. So my cousin came over, my cousins came over, more than one cousin came over, and he brought one of his friends. And he actually brought some games so we can play some games like later on in the evening. And we played Perfection, the game Perfection. For those that don't know what type of game that is, Perfection is like a game where you have all these shapes and you have to put all the shapes in the correct spot before the timer runs out. When the timer runs out, the actual game kind of like jumps to the top, and all the shapes that you've already placed inside the spots, they're all gonna like fall out of place, okay? So it's kind of like it scares you. It kind of pops. So what happens is you turn the timer, and when you turn on the timer, it kind of sinks down to the bottom, and then it rises up slowly until the timer is out, and then it pops, and then everything comes out, right? So in between that time, you're supposed to put the shapes in the correct position or in the correct place, right? So while you're playing the game, you kind of have a bit of anxiety because you're trying to rush and put the correct shapes in the correct spots before the time is up. So you do have some anxiety because you're trying to get this done before time is done. And there's about 20 shapes, and you're trying to get all of them in the right spot. And then you're kind of like looking all over the place. And sometimes by the time the game finishes and pops, you only have about 10 in, 15 in, maybe 17 in, and you're like, oh man, I was close, right? Now, the reason why I brought up that game as an analogy is because the game is called Perfection. You're trying to put everything in its spot perfectly, okay? Now, that game is like God and our breakthrough, okay? God puts the timer on, and we have to put all the shapes in our lives in the correct order, in the correct spots, okay? Does that mean we're not going to have slip-ups? No. Does that mean we're not going to mess up? No. The thing is, the game is called Perfection, but God does not expect us to be perfect, right? So the reason why I use that analogy is because what God is trying to say is, when it comes to your breakthrough, you have to do every single assignment, and you have to be obedient, and you have to do things in the order that God needs you to do it in. Of course, you're not going to be perfect. There's going to be days where you slip up. There's going to be days where you forget things. There's going to be days where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of like pulled back a little bit, and that's fine, right? But sometimes we tend to think that we have to hurry up and do something because God told us that our breakthrough is coming, and we try to rush, just like the game. We try to rush and put things in the right order and think that we don't have a lot of time. Listen, God will give you a certain amount of time, but he knows what amount of time to give you. So when you're playing the game Perfection, you only get a certain amount of time. That's guaranteed. So you only get a specific set time. When it comes to God and when it comes to your life, God gives you a set time, but he gives you a different set time that he gives for someone else. You get what I'm saying? Because God knows the mistakes we're going to make along the way. God knows if we're going to do things, to procrastinate things. So he knows exactly the amount of time to give us to get certain things done, to get to where we need to be, right? That being said, You need to take your time when it comes to certain projects, when it comes to certain things, and not be in a rush to hurry up and do things because you're afraid that the time's going to run out and you're going to lose every single thing that you worked hard for. See, like the game of perfection, you may have 10 already in the right spots, but when the time is up and it pops, everything that you've worked for, all the shapes that you've worked to put into place, they fall out of place once it pops. So all that hard work was for nothing. God doesn't work like that. God does not work like that. You get what I'm saying? The devil works like that. The devil wants you to have an anxiety on your mind, to have you rushing things. And when you rush things and you think that you have to hurry up and do something, then you're not going to get to your destination properly. You're not going to do things correctly. You're not going to do things the right way. Okay, you're not going to do things the right way. So with that being said, whatever breakthrough, remember something. When God wants you to rush and do something, He will let you know. Because the nudge that He's going to give you is like no other. And He will make sure that your path is straight while He's rushing you to do something. But majority of times, God is not rushing you to do anything. He is giving you instructions. And the thing is, as human beings, children of God, we think because God has given us 10 ideas, 10 projects. We're so excited to have these projects. We're grateful for it. We think that we have to get all 10 projects done within the month or started within the month. And that's not true. When God gives you 10 ideas, 10 projects, what He's trying to tell you is this is the outcome. This is what's gonna bring you success. He's letting you know that these are the types of breakthroughs you're going to have. It's not just one breakthrough, it's 10 breakthroughs. That's why I'm giving you 10 projects. He's not saying I'm giving you 10 projects to complete now, 10 projects to complete this month. He is letting you know the 10 projects, all of them are going to lead to each other. One door that you open will enter into another project. That other project will enter into another project. For example, the first project, you may make some income from that project. God may bless you. You invest that income into the second project, second investment. You invest that second investment into the third investment. You invest the third investment into the fourth investment. And now you have 10 ways of making income. Now you have prosperity and abundance because you have 10 income streams from these 10 projects. But guess what? It's not the game of perfection. You have to put the pieces in the right place, absolutely, and take your time, absolutely. But you don't have to rush like the game of perfection. You get what I'm saying? If you rush, you're not going to get it right. If you take your time, you will put every single piece in the correct place, and it's going to be according to the time that God has specifically given you. The reason why I'm bringing this conversation up to you guys is because oftentimes when the devil tries to put anxiety in you and makes you think you have to hurry up and get all this stuff done at once, you end up becoming desperate. You end up thinking that, oh my gosh, God, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get this. And guess what? That's how you fall into the trap of desperation. That's how you fall into the trap of schemes and plots from the enemy. Okay? That's why you see a lot of people, when they start YouTube channels, they try to figure out, hey, what's going to be the best way to bring in traffic? And then they figure, and because they're in a rush to get monetized, they're in a rush to receive income, and they're not building their channel from the kindness of their heart. They're not building the channel from authenticity. They're not building the channel from really wanting to do what it is they're good at and really wanting to take their time with it. What ends up happening is they end up trying to go the easy route, which is what the devil wants, which is tarnishing people, slandering, because a lot of drama is what will bring people to your channel quicker. Okay? And the more views you get, you finally get monetized. You get what I'm saying? Then when they finally get monetized, then they start to bring in the real content, and the content they originally wanted to do, but they wanted to get paid off of it. Then when they realize the real content they brought in is not bringing views, why? Because they started their channel off unauthentically. They started their channel off with a specific thing that's not positive. The people that are now attracted to whatever they brought to their channel originally, they're not going to be attracted. They're not going to be wanting to tune in to the content change, to when now all of a sudden they want to bring in their real content, but the people that they already brought in have no interest in their real content now. Have no interest in in what they're into. Why? Because these people now, they're looking for drama. They're looking for what they originally saw. You get what I'm saying? And now they have to continue when they realize their new content or what they're into isn't bringing in the views that they used to get from tarnishing people's names, reputations, putting people down. They go back to tarnishing because now they got to keep up with what it is they already started, right? Another example is when you're starting out a business and you start receiving emails from people who want to partner with you, but because you're so in a rush to receive that breakthrough, you're so in a rush to receive the promise that God gave you, you're not going to the Lord with the emails that you're getting. So now you're jumping on every single endorsement deal or every single brand deal that you see in your email because you're so in a rush to receive that abundance and that breakthrough that the people that you are endorsing for, the people that you are representing, they're not even authentic themselves, and you just brought a whole bunch of people to unauthentic people. Do you get what I'm saying? So the point of me saying this is, in this new year, whatever project you're working on, take your time. Don't be in a Christian, don't be in be so quick to rush. Okay? Take your time with these projects. Because let me tell you something, God would prefer that you do things at a good pace and properly than rushing and losing it all. Do you get what I'm saying? Because in the game of Connect 4, when you rush, like I said before, when you rush and you only get 15 in and you need to get 20 in and the thing pops, you lose everything. Take your time and you get all 20. Let's say you're able to take your time in the game. Because the whole point of the game is to rush. But let's just say the thing was moving slowly. You've already completed everything, so you're really not losing anything because you already just beat the game. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how God moves. God will give you a time frame, and you just got to take your time and trust Him. Him showing you 10 different things does not mean it has to be done tomorrow. It means that this is what's going to be in your outcome. This is the types of projects you're going to be working on all at the same time, or one thing leads to the next. Okay, don't be so in a quick to rush for your breakthrough, you become desperate. Because it's better to take your time than to lose everything. Okay? So God is saying your breakthrough is coming to the surface. And the breakthrough coming to the surface reminds me of the game Perfection. I think I said Connect 4 part of the game, but it's not Connect 4. You know, coming to the surface. All what you're waiting for will come to the surface. Therefore, if everything is in the right place and it finally pops, you're good. You see what I'm saying? So take your time. Build your businesses, your projects authentically. The best way to do that is to pray about every single decision. The best way to do that is to take your time. Build your house on pavement and concrete. Do not build your house on sand. When you start off a business unauthentically, when you start off a business doing something that is not right, you're going to have to continue that. Because the people that you are bringing to you now are the very people that are interested in that negativity. So now you got to keep that going to keep whatever you want coming in. And that's not how God operates. You build it authentically, you will reach authentic people. And your business will be built on concrete. You build it on sand, unauthentically, that water gonna come and wash out your house. And you ain't gonna have nothing. You see what I'm saying? So take your time this new year on any project, any business venture, any decision that you make. And like I said, remember, just because God told you to do something, don't mean it has to be done tomorrow unless He tells you specifically this specific thing has to be done by Friday. You get it done by Friday. But if He doesn't say that, remember, He is giving you time to work on things because He would rather things be done properly. Okay? Build everything authentically. Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.